Today, we will continue to do research on the natural disaster that you started researching. Remember, I told you that you would need to gather information from at least 3 sources. So today, I would like to share some information on this website. It's called National Geographic Kids. So the first thing you'll do is click Search. And then in the search bar, you will type in your natural disaster. So I'm going to click on this first one. The surface of the Earth, called the crust, is not one solid piece. It's more like a 20-piece puzzle. Each puzzle piece is called a plate. The plates constantly move. Fortunately for us, they don't move fast. Geologists estimate the fastest plate might shift 6 inches a year, or 15 centimeters. That's about as fast as your hair grows. I will paraphrase this paragraph. Remember, I do that by looking away from the text so that I can use my own words instead of copying from the author. The surface of the Earth is made up of many pieces called plates. These plates move all of the time, but they move so slowly that they only move about 6 inches a year. The Seymour Simon book called the pieces rocks, and this site calls them plates. I think I'll use plates since that sounds more scientific. I can add this information to the third box since that was where I wrote other details about when earthquakes happen. I will write Earth's surface, many plates, on the move, 6 inches yearly. Listen to the next paragraph. Earthquakes happen when a plate scrapes, bumps, or drags along another plate. When does this happen? Constantly. About 500,000 quakes rock the Earth every day. That's 1 million a year. People don't feel most of them because the quake is too small, too far below the surface, or too deep in the sea. Some, however, are so powerful that they can be felt thousands of miles away. Listen as I paraphrase this paragraph. An earthquake happens when a plate scrapes, bumps, or drags against another plate. This happens millions of times per year, but most are so small we don't feel them. Others are very powerful and can be felt thousands of miles from where they occurred. That sounds familiar because we read some similar information in the book by Seymour Simon. When you find the same information in more than one source, it's a good idea to put a check mark next to the similar information. That will remind you that the information with the check marks is very important since it was in more than one source and you will want to include it in your paper. I'm going to put a check next to unnoticeable and huge destruction and one time in 30 seconds because that is similar to the earthquake occurring millions of times per year. I also need to add new information to the graphic organizer. One part that is new is some earthquakes can be felt thousands of miles away from where they occurred. In the third box, I will write felt thousands of miles away. We also read that the plates can scrape, bump, and drag against another plate. From the earthquake book, we listed that the plates snap against each other, so next to that I'll write scrape, bump, drag against plates. Remember, in the second box, we started keeping a list of historical events. You can see where I made the check marks on our graphic organizer. Back to our website about earthquakes is a list of fast facts. Here we see the largest earthquake happened in Chile in 1960. I'll write that in the list. I'll add 9.5 so I can remember the size of the historical earthquakes. The deadliest earthquake was in China in 1556. It killed 830,000 people. I'll add that one too. In green, I wrote Chile, 1960, 9.5, and China, 1556, killed 830,000. I would continue adding notes to the graphic organizer, and that is what you will continue to do today. But first, I have to list the new source. So on the back, I've listed www.kidsnationalgeographic.com. Remember, you should take notes from both of the sources that you found so far. Put checks next to any information that you found in both sources instead of writing the same information more than once.